All right, guys. So today we're going to check out an IEM that if I did not know the company that actually made these, I would think that the company Nothing designed them. They just look exactly like kind of how they approach their headphones and their phones. A very simple design, very futuristic, kind of like clean edges. It's kind of hard to explain, but it looks like a Nothing branded product. But the pair that we're going to check out today is the Colorfly Silver Reference. Now this is an IEM that is using triple drivers, but in an unconventional way. It is using a single 10mm carbon composite driver. It is using a custom coax driver, which is actually two drivers in one. It has a 10mm bio diaphragm and a 6mm titanium dynamic driver. So all of these are dynamic drivers. And so you would essentially think that this is going to be a bass heavy, just bloated IEM. And I was very surprised in how these sounded after all of my testing. But from a price standpoint, these do come in at $149. I am not really familiar with the company Colorfly, so the Silver Reference is the first product that I've tested from them. And I have to say, the presentation from the box to the accessories to the IEM and everything themselves, they are definitely doing something to make them stand out. It's kind of hard to do that in a market where, you know, IEMs are coming out left and right. There's a bunch of different companies, and you kind of have to have something unique about you to make you stand out. So from a design standpoint and the overall package, they're off to a good start. Because in the box, you get this nice like pleather looking case. It actually uses a magnetic connection instead of the zippered case. You can see inside that it has the headphone cable, which is also kind of unique. It looks like a wire that pertains to, I don't even know. It's like the ones that are used on bicycle locks. This is not a cable that gets tangled very easily, so that's nice. It does use a 2-pin connection, so that is how it connects to the IEM itself. And then the actual plug-in is a 4.4mm balanced plug-in. So there's no other adapter. There's not one to use it like in a normal 3.5mm connection. There's not a 1/4-inch adapter. It is simply a balanced plug-in, which is fine with me. I mean, I use the FIO K11 amp, and it actually has a balanced input on it, which balanced inputs are the way to go with these because one, it kind of keeps these from distorting. And for me, at least with my experience, I always notice I have a better sound experience with using a balanced connection. Now, some other accessories in here, and this one is kind of cool and frustrating at the same time. So this is the little compartment that it comes with the silicone ear tips. So you hear it. You actually just unscrew it. You can see there's ear tips on both sides, and they actually come with two different style of silicone ear tips. So definitely make sure to test both of these to see which one works for you the best. Now, I personally like the ones that are a little bit softer and the ones that do not have this kind of blockage inside of the opening port. It just seemed like I got more bass this way. But anyway, this container, even though it looks cool, it is a pain in the ass to get the lid back on. Like you have to take it off, put it back on to get it to line up like just right, and then screw it. Like I'm not even gonna attempt this because I've sat there and done that for a while and not been able to get it on. But it's cool. It's not something I would use, but I think once you have the ear tips on it that you want, it's not something that you're gonna go to switch out regularly anyway. And then now we can move over to looking at the IEMs themselves. From a design standpoint, I absolutely love these. I think it kind of falls into the category of like the Cybertruck, sharp edges. It's silver and black, which is my favorite color combination. You can see the SR right here. And this to me is kind of like what Nothing does on their products. The font on here is the dot font that Nothing uses on their stuff. And you can see this little port here. And then right here, this little vent, this is actually an airflow port for the bass to be able to kind of breathe so that these do not sound congested. It doesn't sound muddy. It allows everything to kind of flow freely. In fact, on their site, it even says that they're going for like an open back transparency. And so I think they kind of pull this off a little bit because of this port, but this really does do some impressive things when it comes to the low end, but we'll talk about that once we get to the sound. Now, as far as using these with an amp, like I said, I use the FIO K11. This is because of the balanced output, but also it definitely brings out the lows, the mids, and the highs a little bit more. But I am gonna say, if you are just looking to plug this straight into a source like a phone or a tablet or whatever, I don't really think you need an amp if you're just looking to get decent volume, because the impedance level on these is only 16 ohms, and they also have a sensitivity level of 107 decibels. So it's very easy to drive these and get decent volume. But again, having an amp just boosts everything else. And I think that's really where you get your money's worth with these IEMs, because now we're gonna move over to the sound. Now, if you look at their site and you try to base the sound off that, it says that they're going for like a natural live performance type of sound. So like as if you were at a concert. And I think that's where this vent actually comes into play. I think giving these IEMs the amount of space that they have, because I will say, out of all the testing of IEMs and everything that I've done, this is probably the most open IEM that I've tested, especially under $200 and probably even under $300 to $400. I was very impressed with how wide these sound, how much space they had, but also at the same time still keeping a very dynamic low end. I mean, I felt like the bass had a lot of punch to it. It is very, very fast, but at the same time, it still does a really good job with sub bass. So at times you can feel that subwoofer type bass. It doesn't seem like it's trying to overemphasize bass that wasn't recorded that way. So like the hit of the drums are fast. Like it doesn't feel like it has this really boomy feel when they hit the drums, although you're able to feel it, but it is so fast to move on to the next hit. Again, I was very impressed with the low end, and I am a bass head, but I do like things to sound very detailed, very bright, like vocalists to stand out, and this pair checks off all those boxes too. This is a fairly bright IEM. There's a lot of detail in the treble. If you listen to it at louder volumes, I can definitely say that it might seem a little harsh to some people, but I didn't ever really feel that sibilant sound with the S's. I didn't have that hissing. So for me, it's very, very clean, but still very, very aggressive with the low end. And same thing with vocalists. Because the mids are pushed slightly forward, I felt like vocalists had really good detail, even if it were male or female vocalists. Overall, I was extremely impressed with these. I think if I were to say that they weren't for a certain type of person, I am gonna say if you're somebody that doesn't like a pretty dynamic tuning, or you want something that's pretty flat, I would not say that that's what these are. I didn't get that kind of experience with these no matter what I was doing. I felt like everything was bumped up. It was just a fun IEM to listen to. So my overall opinion is this. Yes, there's just so many IEMs to choose from, especially in the under $200 market. And coming from a company that I'm not familiar with, I was a little hesitant at first, but the design is what caught my attention. The triple driver system with the airflow so that it kind of gives it like a somewhat open back feel, that intrigued me. So there's different things that can pull me in to try a product, and the silver reference did that, and I wasn't disappointed. This is probably the closest IEM to cater to what I listen to outside of the Eco OH1s and the OH10s. That's just a bass head's dream IEM. These come in more detailed. The bass is tightened up more than it is on the Ecos. So I was really happy with these. The only thing is I don't understand this stupid ear tip case thing. I don't like this at all, even though it looks cool. And I will say that the IEMs at times, if you're going to adjust them a lot because of the design, the pointy end might poke you just while you're adjusting. I didn't notice any kind of discomfort while wearing these over time, so it wasn't an issue there. But guys, that wraps up my video on the Colorfly Silver Reference IEMs. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.